What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 39 of the BBET Gamescast. I'm joined with Superman Jeff.
What's going on, people? It's your favorite superhero.
As well as Mr. Gamer.
Hello there.
And Blue Bones.
It's your boy. What's going on, fam?
And as we always do, we like to get started with what we've been playing for the week. Does anybody want to go first? I can start. I don't have too much.
You got it, bro.
All right. So I literally just forgot what it was I was playing this week. No, actually, I just finished
the shortest segment ever.
No, I just finished a review for a game that released recently.
Okay.
But it's gonna sound familiar. We've watched Gamer play Enter the Gungeon. I actually just finished doing the review for the PC release of Exit the Gungeon.
Oh snap! Sorry.
How is it?
Did you get a chance to try that at all, Gamer? Or
I tried very, very little because I hadn't unlocked everything with Enter the Gungeon, so I didn't want to do too much in Exit the Gungeon and then have something spoiled for me.
Right. Okay. Well, hopefully this doesn't spoil anything because I did play, I want to say a good chunk of the game, but essentially this actually came out back in September of last year, but it was an Apple Arcade exclusive. So it's only just now getting a release on the Switch and PC, so it's kind of more widespread. But it is kind of a mobile game in a sense. Like it's like, think about how other Apple Arcade games have been. Like, they're substantial games.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're kind of made to be a little bit more portable than, say, something you sit down at a console or a computer and play, right? So with that in mind, they changed the perspective. You're not looking top down and you're like moving through like a big dungeon. You're kind of on these platforms and it's like side on. So the main thing that changes is now you can jump. You don't just run around bullets and stuff. You can jump over enemies and through bullets, and they give you that dodge roll invincibility while you're in the air. So as long as you're not on the ground, you're invincible. Which sounds very powerful, but honestly, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because the main thing in a bullet hell game that kind of keeps you safe is you being able to kind of move out of the way. But when you jump, you fall back down to the ground. So you don't stay, you have
no momentum. It's just up and then you're down.
Right, exactly. So it's like you can jump and be, safe, but then as soon as you land, what if there's a bullet there? It just kind of makes it slightly harder than I feel like they intended for the kind of gameplay that exists. And I found myself kind of dying a whole lot. But they still have that blank mechanic where you can clear the screen full of bullets, even though those are limited. But the other big thing that I also feel like is kind of a headache is it's a roguelike. So you go in, you find different guns and stuff, and it's kind of based on what you can find as to how good you can do. But in this game, they kind of take that away from you. Like, your gun is random at all times. So like from the very beginning.
Wait. So random, like I empty out a magazine and then my gun changes to something else?
More like every couple of seconds your gun changes to something else. So you'll have like maybe a couple of reloads, but then like after a while you'll just have something else, and you have to just make do with whatever it is they give you. And they say that it's based on how well you do. Like, I guess if you're not getting hit or if you're killing enemies quickly, they'll give you more powerful weapons. But it's still random. So it's like you don't know what's coming. You don't know what the game considers more powerful versus what you prefer as more powerful. So you really just kind of have to make do with whatever you get, which can in and of itself be, challenging and fun. But I never really got there with it. You know what I mean? Like, I always felt like, oh, well, this isn't helping me right now. Yeah, so it's kind of a hassle. But
that sounds like the rainbow runs that you can do in Into the Gungeon, where instead of using any of the 1 to 4 chests that can spawn in an area, you have one rainbow chest at the start of the floor, and then that's the only chest you have, and you can choose out of a variety of pretty decent items. So from what you can tell, from what you've seen, Exit the Gungeon still has roguelike. You still has a dodge, but
it's
not
the same.
Yeah, it's a little less mechanic based. Like if that makes sense. Like the mechanics are there, like you can do the same stuff. Like they have, similar enemies and bad guys and patterns and stuff that you can work around, but just the change of that perspective and the adding of that jump, it's kind of a liability, honestly.
Yeah, especially if you're just in the air and then you just drop. The wonderful thing about the dodge roll mechanic is you had significantly much more control where you ended. Like, you can dodge into bullets and you'd have a better chance of getting away. But I see you just like jumping in the air as like, well, this is a roll of the dice. If something's under me, I'm screwed.
Well, to clarify, it is you can jump in a direction. Like it's not like when you jump, you just go up and then straight back down. It's just that when you jump in a direction, the fact that like if a stream of bullets is coming towards you in any other bullet hell, you would just move your ship or your character to the left, and then you would keep moving to the left as the trail of bullets kept moving. Right? It's just that when you jump, if you're jumping out of the way of something, when you come back down, you don't have control over that because you're falling down. You're controlling where you fall.
Yeah, and they're still targeting you when you're in the air. So when you get on the ground, the bullets will still be there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of an added layer of complexity. And the thing is, I never felt like it was impossible to get over. Like it's something that you would just, I guess, have to adjust to, like that style of gameplay. But it just never felt fun to me to do that way. Like it felt more frustrating than fun or challenging to like kind of wrap my head around what they wanted you to do, especially coming from, not Enter the Gungeon specifically, but just other bullet hell type games in the genre. But I mean, outside of that, the levels are actually very well designed. Like the elevator sections are like really cool. Like how in beat 'em ups you'll have the elevator section where like enemies are just dropping in on you, but you're constantly going up. This remixes that where like, okay, this one is the platforms are made out of balloons, and like a spike will come down and pop a balloon over here, so you have to jump off of that. So, or the platform has 2 buttons on it where there are enemies who basically can hurt you if you touch them, but if they land on a platform, they get stuck to the platform for a while. So you have to move the platform out of the way of them as those enemies are like falling down and stuff. So like they mix up all these things for you to juggle while enemies are coming in, while bullets are flying all over the place, while you have to dodge, while you have to shoot back at them, and it gets really, really hectic, honestly. And sometimes it's to its detriment. Like, it can be fun, but also it can be like, okay, this is too much. I don't know how I was ever expected to get through this, especially when I'm shooting with, like, a pine cone gun. Because
I hate when you're playing a game and you feel like... You kind of looking at it, you're analyzing it, and you're like, there was absolutely no way I could have gotten through this with the random stuff.
Right, yeah, like, the roll they gave me was just bad. So, however good I was doing, like, this kind of shoots my run in the foot.
Yeah. Like, it adds more luck to it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I appreciate if you can have bad luck and still pass the level. You know what I mean? Like, if you get something that's relatively low powered, but you can still mechanic wise push it out, I like that. But
and I'm
if
saying
there's like close to 0 chance, then
I mean, I'm saying the possibility exists for someone to be that good, like to basically just outskill all of the bad luck they give you. But like, it's a high skill ceiling, is where I'm getting at. Yeah, that's like I'm personally not that good at the game yet. Like maybe I could be if I spent the time, but like it's not fun enough for me to get good by just spending the time, is how I felt.
I get that. Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
Outside of that, the Phantasy Star Online beta came back. I know all of us have been putting in a ton of time into that. I'm still very much enjoying that game. Like the amount of customizability for your like movesets and like the variation in like different classes and stuff is very exciting. Like, even though I haven't personally been experimenting with a bunch of other classes, like I see the other ones and can see how cool they are. I'm still, learning the ins and outs of the one class that I've kind of been maining. And honestly, my one class has like 2 weapons assigned to it, like the bow and the katana.
You're using the Braver, right?
Yeah, the Braver class. But then the introduction of the subclass also lets me kind of tool around with force powers. Like, I can use spells and stuff at the same time. And unfortunately, you can't really use your subclasses' weapons at all. Like, it's not like you have maybe 1 or 2. They don't let you use any of them. You just get like the skills and like the the skill tree and attributes and stuff that tie to it. But I feel like force is kind of cheating, since you can use like the spells without having a weapon equipped. So if force is your subclass, then you kind of get both worlds.
If you're a force main, though, your magic power is going to be way more potent, right?
Probably, yeah, because their weapons also cast spells.
Exactly, yeah. So I wouldn't even say it's like I don't. Have you seen how your magic lines up to someone who's a force user?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think we've seen many force users in our groups. Like, I don't think anyone has gone main force. I may do the switch later on, like maybe switch subclasses, switch my subclass with my main class, and then just try being a straight up force for a little bit. But I've been enjoying that a lot. But I know you guys have been playing it as well.
When you did your subclass, were you a force or a Tetcher? Because I remember you were a Tetcher at one point.
I was a Techer at first because
is it Techer or Tetcher?
I think it's Techer because they call them techniques. Like that's the full name for them. So like because in the old game, force was a class,
right?
Well, not rather. It was a matter of fact. No, yeah, it was always a class. But I kind of confused. I was linking up force with the race. The what are they called? Newmans, I guess.
Okay,
kind of like the space elf people. So I was force was always kind of tied to Newmans. Like they kind of make that one and the same. So I was always thinking of force as the Newman race versus the actual class, which is why I picked Techer at first. But yeah, honestly, I'm not really seeing the difference between Techer and force. Like I switched between them like halfway through, and I was still able to use all the same spells that I had learned. So unless I guess I make it with my main class, I'm not going to see what the main difference is between them.
I see that.
But what about you guys? What have you been playing?
So, I've been pretty much playing the same thing. I think I got off at like maybe like 12 a.m. last night.
Oh, on PSO?
Yeah, I think when I got off, I was level 45. And I kind of learned I didn't care to do. So when you go in, you have your arc mission rewards, where you go to collect them.
Yeah,
it'll tell you the certain mission just objectives to do. So like one of them was like go talk to what was his name, Jackie in the
Jan, that old man,
Jan, whatever. Yeah, go talk to him in the shopping plaza, and that'll complete and give you a bounty to cash in. Once you start clearing off those bounties, it's going to start loading in more bounties that you've probably already done the stuff, and it's going to come in as completed.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that they retroactively gave you credit for that stuff.
Yes. So when they start loading in, it's like I got a mag kit that I can, when I get another mag, I can put it in the incubation chamber and automatically boost it to level 100. So, I mean, my mag's at 200 now, so it doesn't make sense to use it for anything. But once I get another one, though, I can just throw it in the chamber. So it starts giving you all this stuff. Some of them was like, you get 30 proton crystals, proton drops.
Whatever those are.
30, yeah. Then you'll come back in and you do something else, like go and equip this to your... Oh, feed your mag. So just like little ones, even easy ones are just loading in, and I've already done them. So it's just hitting complete. And I learned that's a good way to switch to another class that you might want to level up and just cash in those bounties. And you're just getting all that XP. I did that last night, so it was pretty cool.
So you switched classes last night, or?
I did switch just to get some experience on one of them, and then switch.
What did you switch to?
The Ranger.
Oh, Ranger.
Yeah. The fighter's my subclass, so my fighter's already at 30.
Oh, okay.
So reason why I did fighter subclass because it has a lot of stances that buff your already
the hunter can use
melee power. So like Fury stance gives me more melee power, but I take more melee damage. Another one is in there was it's a stance that I do more damage when I'm fighting an enemy up front, hitting it from the front.
Okay.
It also has melee power +3, so more melee, adding more melee power too. So it just complements the hunter class, and then if I want to, I can always just go in and switch it around and do fighter main class and do hunter secondary class. because they just complement each other so well.
Right.
Last night, I think I did. I finished up all the expeditions. I did some more of the story missions. I got out of episode 1 into episode 2, and then
how is the story mission? Because I only went through maybe a couple of them, but like, how are you?
To me, I haven't done many fights. Most of it's just you pop in, you talk to this person, and then the video's over, and then it goes to the next
press skip.
skip.
Get those rewards.
Occasionally you'll pop in and it's like, oh, you got to fight this boss or do this and do that. I also got some serious sword last night. Oh my, this shit! It hits for 900, and it's only at like +4.
Okay.
Yeah, I was getting confused with kind of the power level because I found a bow and a katana that for like the past 20 or so levels, I've not picked up a stronger weapon than.
Like, it could have just been a really good roll.
But for both my weapon, like for both my sword and my bow, like nothing I found for 20 odd levels is stronger.
It's just bad rolls.
Yeah, we gotta think about those specific stats because it sounds like for 20 levels, bro, I've been getting like upgrades almost every 2 levels for my weapons and stuff like that.
I don't know.
And even when I was a braver, I was getting that stuff. So yeah, you must have either terrible luck or you reading something wrong.
What did you enhance that weapon you're talking about? Is it enhanced
only
or is it
when
base?
that quest from Jan came up saying, oh, enhance a weapon to do a thing, is when I went and enhanced it the one time. But other than that, no, it was like,
because you have your base power and you also have elemental damage, so they do factor into your overall damage. So we'll say these are weaker.
Yeah, matter of fact, the thing was that third stat, the rainbow colored one that has like, I guess, other like attributes.
Yes, because it'll give you like more melee damage with this weapon or more range damage with this weapon.
And apparently that's the thing that makes that damage number at the front so high, is because the weapons I have, I guess, have like 6 attributes, and then all these new ones have like 3 or 4 or whatnot. So nothing has been better than that. So, I mean,
now make sure when you go in and you decipher these weapons or appraise them, you're doing the second appraisal, which gives them a chance to decrypt with 6 or more attributes. Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll try that. Yeah. Because I kind of just dump whatever I have in that decryptor, and nothing comes out stronger than those weapons. So,
yeah. So do the second appraisal. It's like a higher appraisal. Costs a little bit more, but you do get to get better stats from it. I did open up the store yesterday as well. I did play with that. I went and purchased a 30-day whatchamacallit. So I can trade. I can open my own store. I can shop other people's stores. So like I put some stuff in the shop just to see how it does. And I put some stuff in there to see if you guys. So if I want to trade something with you, can I put something in the shop at a price that's reasonable, and you guys can just go in and purchase it?
But would we not have to buy the 30-day thing to shop, like you're saying?
I don't know if you need to have it to shop. I know you need to have it to have your own store.
Okay. We'll experiment. We'll see how that functions.
And then let's play some Smash. I did play some Smash. I've been working with Zelda. I think I took my game with her to the next level. I'm interested to show that off a little bit later. Some stuff I was working on. I did watch the video for Dude that was at the tournament.
Ace Attorney.
Some stuff. Yeah.
Ace Attorney.
Yep, Ace Attorney. Shout out to him. So you can check him out on Twitter.
Yeah,
that's why
he's really active on Twitter.
Videos.
And he streams a lot on Twitch as well.
Like you said, he kind of used the Guardian, in different situations that forced you to work in the way that he wanted you to work, and kind of some of the stuff I do just to a higher level, some small stuff that makes a big difference. And I'm interested to show that off later.
Cool.
And that's all I've been playing.
All right.
Alrighty.
It's my turn.
Go for it.
When the world's on lockdown, you got Game Pass, you can do a lot. But let's see, for the major ones, I'll talk about Smash real quick. I did a little bit of practice on Smash. My Bowser is getting significantly better. I'm putting a lot of work and actually focusing on him right now. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, I'm just like Jeff said, I'm excited to kind of show off what I've learned. I I played Gamer just yesterday, and I'm getting shield breaks now as Bowser.
Yeah, so I mean he's good for that.
And I got it on YouTube.
True, I remember.
I broke your shield a couple times too. Yeah, and I'm knowing how to do it now. Like, it's not just happening. So hopefully it'll come out in practice against these guys in the dojo this Sunday. Later today, right?
Right.
Yeah, so on top of that, I want to talk about PSO a little bit. Definitely put in my work. I was doing Braver class at first. I loved the bow, but I got a little bored with it. Only because I was killing too fast, too far away. So like it was never really exciting. I was just at the side, you're gonna die. Now you're dead. And no, you're gonna, and all your friends are gonna die. Yep. Okay, I'll just throw some rain and
like those
dies.
Kind of those normal level missions are like way too easy. Like like as soon as you can, just bump everything up to like whatever the hardest difficulty is.
Yeah, it's like a big tutorial area.
I wouldn't even like. It doesn't even feel like a tutorial because if everything dies so fast, you can't get your combos done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of how it felt. So anyway, I switched to something that was going to it was still going to be effective, but I'll be able to get more hits in. So I went to Gunner, right? So I'm using the dual pistols. Bang, bang, bang. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Definitely some John Wick, some Equilibrium, some Matrix action.
Yeah, you were showing off some of your moves in there. Like, it was very, very Bayonetta / Devil May Cry nonsense.
Yeah, it's a really heavy mid-range character, and it's very acrobatic. A lot more fun to play for me than the Braver at the time. One thing I'm not enjoying about PSO is the abundance of currencies.
Yeah.
I actually stopped trying to figure out what's what, and I said, let me just keep playing until it gets difficult, then I'll figure it out. Because it's easy right now. The hard part is trying to understand everything that they're throwing at me, or all the different currencies, and trying to understand why this guy looks like a god and this guy looks like a toy. And they could be able to be the same level. It's a lot of cosmetics. So, like, yeah, that's a little off-putting right now. So I'm just playing the game till things get difficult, or I see something I really want, and then I'm going to figure out how to do that. And I don't think that's going to be a bad strategy. I think I'm going to enjoy the game a lot more. It's funny playing with you guys and playing with some of the other guys from our group. You're really noticing the different styles in how people play these MMOs. Like Jeff is super far ahead. He spent like a lot of the night, getting to level 45, and that's enjoyable for him to not rush, but go through the story and get all those expeditions done ASAP. Me, on the other hand, is a little different. I like to, I've changed classes like 3-4 times already because I want to check out all the base level stuff and then move slowly up. Like the mag stuff where they're like boosting to level 200, 300 or whatever, or 100, 200. I don't like that because I like to grow with my mag. You know what I mean? That's kind of it's a different style, and it's cool to see that play out in different people and how different people like to do those things. So that was a lot of fun. And then last but not least, definitely not least, I definitely picked up Animal Crossing New Horizons. That was super cool. I was playing with Gamer a little bit yesterday. I was playing with some other friends. That is hands down the most relaxing game I've ever played in my life. Jeff has something on the screen. He says, why?
Why?
I just explained why, Jeff. It is the most relaxing game I've ever played in my life. Absolutely zero stress. It's super cute. It's a lot of fun to just. If you could do me a favor,
yeah, I'm gonna need you and Gamer to explain the appeal of it. I get it's relaxing, but what do you do?
Oh, don't worry.
It just seems like
we haven't gotten to me yet.
A whole game of fetch quests.
Yeah, and that's not bad. It's its own style.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people would say the same about Death Stranding.
Yeah, also don't see the appeal.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like it's highly acclaimed. Lots of people like that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a market for it, and it might not be for you, but there's an appeal there. That's what people like.
I think you just like making little characters that look like you.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm just saying. I think you just like that.
That is something that's a fact. We've all known. I love customization. I love characters.
So
That's,
walk me
old
through
news.
a typical day for you guys in Animal Crossing, because I'm trying to understand it. I want to understand it.
Okay, so the cool thing about Animal Crossing, right, is that it works on real time. So, minus the very first introduction where they do like an overnight scene, it automatically syncs up to the time in real life. So really the day is what you want it to be. You jump on there, you have like little villagers on your island who are also there doing their own thing. And yeah, basically the cool thing about Animal Crossing is that it goes to real time. You know what I'm saying? Like right now it is 11 a.m. Eastern, 11:18, 20. And when I go on the game, that's exactly what time it's going to be. There's all kinds of villagers doing their own thing. They're building their houses. They're gathering stuff. They're fishing. They're doing whatever. And you can go talk to them. They actually remember you. If you're gone for a long period of time, they're like, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. It's kind of like a really cute Second Life. And yeah, the appeal of it is just to make this island your own. More people eventually join the residency. If you got people in your household who have profiles on your Switch, they jump into, and you can go visit other people's islands like I did last night with actually Mr. Gamer and Miss Kitty Duval, his co-host on the other podcast. So I was going to hang out with them for a little bit. That was really cool. And I got especially in this day and age, there's a lot of folks playing this game, so the islands go visit and see what people are doing. A lot of people who don't typically game are playing this game as well, so that's a lot of fun too, seeing what they come up with. So that's I guess the typical day is just going in, doing what you want. If you want to build something, you chop some trees down. If your axe breaks, you make another axe, then you chop the tree down, take the wood, take it to the crafting station, build what you want, put it there. Hey, it's nice. There you go. That's it. And you just get bigger and better stuff.
So that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But how's it fun?
When you do it, it's fun. It's hard to explain, y'all. It's really relaxing. It's not competitive. I know that, for some people, if a game isn't competitive, it's not fun. But it's not very difficult either, and it's just you just gotta play it, man. It's relaxing, or just watch it being played. But I'm
definitely not gonna do that. I'll tell you right now.
Wow, I was planning on streaming this week, so thanks, bro.
I mean, some streams aren't for everybody.
Yeah.
But Gamer, how about you? I know you've been sinking a ton of time into Animal Crossing as well.
So before I talk about all the time that I've sunk into Animal Crossing, I have been playing a lot of Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
I am getting better with my Roadhog. Kind of before we actually started recording, I was talking about my Overwatch spreadsheets of the characters I'm trying to get good at. So I'm finishing Roadhog's spreadsheet right now. I've also been playing a lot of Phantasy Star Online. That's I still trying to do the subclass quest, but I am absolutely 100% in love with my summoner. I love her to pieces.
Can we talk about how you ditched me yesterday?
Okay.
Yeah, what was that about?
We could have got that subclass done.
That was crazy.
Okay. So, I don't know, listeners. I don't know if you know this.
Mm-hmm.
I have attention deficit disorder. So, because I also am conflict avoidant, when I realize that, I'm not going to stop what is currently happening. I'm not going to try and rock the boat. If
my boat, fam.
Okay, so if everybody else, so for example, everybody else is playing Secret Neighbor, and I get distracted by something else, I will just silently go off and go do the thing, not trying to stop everybody else from doing their thing.
I was the only person in a party with you, and you were leading it. You stopped what I was doing.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I just got distracted because my notification went off on my phone. Excuse me. That, oh, hey, you have a loot box. So I was like, oh, I need to go check that. And so I just went to go check that. I was going to come back in, but I had forgotten that, oh, hey, I'm in a party with Blue. So I couldn't stealthily come back in. So that was that was a thing that happened.
But go ahead. The summoner looks really man. You've been like killing it with that. You look like a Pokemon trainer out there.
Yeah, and I love it.
Animals look like Pokemon.
Absolutely. Now, Blue had mentioned everyone has their own playing style.
Yeah.
I like min-maxing, so I'm going to find a way to completely maximize the potential of this character. I wanted to do that with the summoner before I even knew about the subclasses. So I did my research, figured out the primary attribute, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to max this out. I'm going to see just how much it looks like if I purely go 100% into this. And I'm level 24, killing level 36 solo. And it's because I'm not really taking any damage. I just go send out a pet to go fight for me, and I just hit it with magic.
True managerial style, just
delegation. Go kill that thing over there. I'm gonna give you buffs and heal you, but I'm gonna sit all the way back here and chill. And then I have like 3. I got the rarity, I think it's rarity 10 or 11 eggs, and then I maxed out their rarity. So I have like the 3 main pets, like the most powerful pets that I just have to get to the max level, and I can change between whatever element I want because I'm a summoner. I have access to all of the elements. So
question: summoners can use techniques then? Like that's a part of their skill set. Like they can use like Resta and
magic,
fire, and Barda, and all that stuff.
Yes, and so if I have my darkness affinity pet out, and then I do a darkness spell, it's more powerful.
Bruh. It's funny because when you talk about PSO,
wait, I'm not muted.
No.
Oh, so muting it on here doesn't work. Okay, makes sense. My bad.
I guess we all get one today, right? I already used mine. Okay.
But you were talking about PSO.
So yeah, the crazy thing about PSO and what's cool to hear is that like it almost sounds like we're talking about 4 different games when we talk about each of our different experiences with this game because there's so much to do and level up.
Very dense.
There is.
Yeah. So I thought that that's something worth mentioning. There's a lot of different things you can focus on in this game, and they all make you pretty effective in the field.
Oh yeah, and obviously the other game that I've been playing a lot of has been Crossing New Horizons.
Mm-hmm.
I had been interested in the game because of my best friend and co-host, and then I was like, okay, let me stick my toes in this. Let's see just how far this goes. So far, I'm eyebrows deep in this, and it's really hard to breathe. But oh my goodness, the Animal Crossing fandom is, first of all, they're just adorable. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this to you guys before, but the cute art between Doom Guy and Isabelle, even the developers of Animal Crossing looked at that and was like, oh yes, that is very, very cute. You know, these 2 things that technically should not have anything to do with one another, but purely just because the Doom fandom and the Animal Crossing fandom had a game that came out at the same day, some artist was like, I think Isabelle would hold a shotgun and kill some demons. Or, you know what? Doom guy, he could really use an island getaway. Like, who would come up with that? They did, and just look at it. So to add on to what Blue had mentioned, the thing that I like about Animal Crossing is you always have something to do.
That's true.
All of the time. Under no circumstances can you open up that game and think, man, I just don't have anything to do today. No, you do. You always do. And the thing is, it's immediate rewards too. It's not like oh yeah, I'm gonna go get this thing and then watch a timer go by and wait for it to fill up. No, you got it, boom, right there. And then when you're done with that, we're gonna immediately give you another one.
More stuff.
And then more, and then more, and then you doing all of these things helps you unlock the next tier of all of these things. Yeah. And another kind of, again, piggybacking off of another point is that it is a low stress game. You put as much time into this game as you want. The only thing that I would really say would be consequence if you just stopped playing you'd be dealing with like some unhappy things, but you're not punished. It's just like, oh man, we really missed you. The place has really gone to crap. Like that. I mean, but here's the thing though. This is your island getaway. This is your island. You can make it however it is that you want.
And what if you want a trash island?
If you want a trash island, you got it.
Then boom. Like, so yesterday, I can't necessarily say that I was playing a lot. My profile was playing a lot. My wife was playing a lot. And she is a huge fan of Harvest Moon. So she looked at that. So she looked at this and it's like, oh no, you mean I just have things to do? And so I was like, honey, do you want to play? And she's like, of course. 4 hours.
Yeah. I remember because I was like, when are you getting on? I'm like,
and she was still on the couch she like cleared out the island. I had 100,000 bells because you just keep going. It's like, okay, it gets a little addicting because you do the thing, you get the ding, you get the you get the dopamine, and it's like, oh wait, more? All right, cool. Okay. Hey, because you did this, how about these things over here? You know, it's like, okay. It's like what EA wants to be.
Right. Just achievement after achievement.
Right.
I did want to say, put a little footnote on when you were talking about instant gratification. There are a couple things that I timed. For example, when you're growing crops or trees or anything like that, you water it one day, the next day, like physical next day, it gets a little bit bigger, or depending on how big the plant is, it might be full grown. But yeah, some things do take like a 24-hour turn. Well, not 24 hours, like after midnight turnaround or something like that.
Yeah. It's morning, the next day, essentially. Is when you get
reset at like 8 a.m. or something like that.
So you could you cheat that? Whereas like.
You can
at 11:59, I plant all my crops.
You could do it even better. You could just change the time on your Switch.
You could just.
But I thought that was frowned upon, the time traveling thing.
Now hold on. Now I'm not a veteran in the Animal Crossing community, but there are the speed runners, the casual players, and the purists.
Yeah.
So you can play Animal Crossing however it is you want, because in Animal Crossing, especially in this one, if you are friends with someone who did time warp, well, they have things that they can then give you to help you, tools and things that you don't have the recipes for to make yourself.
It's an exploit, but it doesn't kill the game for me.
No, it doesn't, because there's no way for you to time warp to completion. You must do something. You still got to put in that work. So
speaking of completion, sorry to cut you off. Like, is there like an end goal? Like, do you reach an end in Animal Crossing?
No, you just collect all the you collect all the things, and then after that, you have an when you get to the point where you have fully upgraded your residential area, you get a permit to then terraform the entire island. So if you could put a lake where there isn't a lake, if you want more beach area, you could just put more beach area.
You out here playing God, huh?
Pretty much.
I mean, at that point, you can just make the island as you want. Like, I want my house on the topmost island. I'm going to have a sub-residence of all the rabbits, a sub-residence of all the boxers.
Redlining.
Oh my, you get it.
Oh man.
But that's the beauty of it. It's like, I can always come into this game. See, I can have a bad game of Enter the Gungeon. I can have a bad game of PSO. I can have a bad game of Overwatch. I can never have a bad game of Animal Crossing.
That's true.
There's no revolutions, like the rabbits won't rebel or anything like that.
No, because as I keep everything pretty, everyone likes me.
Yo, I will say, so there are like tiny consequences that aren't even like super bad to little things that happen. For example, if you're trying to shake some fruit out of a tree,
oh no,
something like that, and a wasp nest drop by, and this wasp nest that you see in Super Smash Brothers, by the way, that's where it's from. They'll start chasing you if you don't get inside fast. They'll mess up your face, and you'll like have a swollen face for a bit. Now you can make medicine to make it swell down, but if you talk to anybody, they say, "Oh dang, what happened to you?" Like their reactions are so funny. So that's like one of the worst things that could happen in the game.
Oh, I'd rather be like.
Oh, don't forget the tarantula.
Oh, I haven't found one yet.
Ooh, okay.
So, what was Jeff gonna say? Hold on. I want to hear what Jeff was about.
I'd rather be like Tom Nook and just go around on different people's islands and just sabotage stuff.
You can do that if you wanted to. If they let you.
Yeah, I mean, just like be the character and just go around and just like that hidden figure behind things. Like you come out and you like, what happened to my crops? And you see him looking out from behind the house like.
Gotcha. I accidentally up one of Miss Kitty Duval's trees. I was pressing too many buttons, and she had a peach tree, and I knocked all the peaches down, and she wanted to keep it up there. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She's like, "Well, I'll just grow some more." But if you wanted to do that intentionally, you could just put holes all over the place. You can bring weeds from your island and drop it off on somebody else's island. Like, if you wanted to be annoying, you definitely could be.
But that's only if they let you have that ability to. Like, that's a special best friends function. Normal people can't do anything destructive to your island, but when you give someone that best friend status, it's like, okay, I trust you enough to not completely deforest my island.
That was your first mistake.
Yep. I do want to mention one more thing about it. One of the cool things about it too is your island is island. Like, I have apples that are native to my island, and my NPCs are only for me. When I went to someone else's island, they got totally different NPCs, totally different layout. Miss Kitty Duval had peaches native on her stuff, so now we're trading apples and peaches. Now I got peach trees in my island that I wouldn't have gotten if I hadn't.
Are you paying taxes on those?
No, I'm not. I'm carrying it. It's
no
duty
import
free.
fees.
No import fees. No nothing. Gamer, I meant to ask you, what are the native fruits on your island?
It's apples. It's apples as well. Mm-hmm. But now I have a designated area of all of the native fruit on my island now.
Okay.
So I mean, like, I've been playing this a lot. So
just make sure everybody stays clean and keep their,
wash their hands.
As you mentioned that, I got a little doctor's mask on my dude. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
So yeah, that is a large synopsis of what I've been playing.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah. We're gonna move off of what we've been playing and into our weekly recap of Super Smash Sunday, known as Blues News, brought to you by Blues News.
What's going on, y'all? Hey, so last week was actually a lot of fun. We didn't have one person necessarily dominating the whole time, or a good chunk of the time, but we did have some really cool we had some new players, one, and then two, we had I wanted to mention Emissary's Cloud was really good last week. Emissary was really especially the limit breaks, he just knew exactly when to throw them up. He missed maybe 2 of them, but everything he had with the limit breaks pretty much connected. So definitely shout out to him. And then we had a Game & Watch player, and his name eludes me. I had it up and then I closed the window by accident. But I think it was Yabimbo, I think it was his name.
Oh yeah,
or
Yabimbe.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yabimbe, yes. Okay.
That
was Mr. Game & Watch player.
in the chat, I think, right?
Yes, yeah. Kato, yeah. So the Game & Watch was really good. Unfortunately, it didn't get any wins, but it was definitely scaring the crap out of everybody. Throwing out the magnitudes. Those 9s came out at the wrong time, and the 1s were always connecting. So that was a little unfortunate, but it was really cool to see that, and we definitely wanted to shout out that. So last week, like I said, really good games all around. I'm excited to show y'all this Bowser next week. That's all I'm hyped about. But
yeah, we'll be back on later today.
That's our Super Smash recap of the week.
Okay, so we're gonna move off of the news and into our first topics. This first one, Jeff actually brought to our attention. You want to give us some insight into what this new show is?
Yeah, so basically it's from the makers of Adventure Time, called Midnight Gospel. It's going to be a straight to Netflix 8-episode series. It's the artwork is similar, but to me it's more like was it Super Prison or was it
Super Jail?
Super Jail.
Super Jail. It looks very similar to Super Jail as far as the artwork goes. In addition to that,
those are crazy.
And this seems just as dark and as adult. So this is not for kids. This is very, very adult. Like you see the one guy sticking his head between the buttocks and coming out some portal or something. So this is the language. This is definitely not for kids, but it is from the makers of Adventure Time. And it seems like he's trying to explore some stuff that maybe he wanted to do when he was with Adventure Time that was you couldn't do because of what the demographic
a Cartoon Network show, right?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because you saw Adventure Time really towing that line off it. Like it's a very psychedelic, deep and trippy show. Like they talk about tons of existential things on Adventure Time. Like honestly, it's one of my favorite shows of like the last generation. So new stuff from Pendleton Ward, I'm like really, really hyped for. And it looks. Matter of fact, have you guys seen Bravest Warriors?
I've seen some of it.
No, because that's another show from
stuff,
that's another show from Pendleton Ward. It's also kind of like a more adult Adventure Time. It's like a bunch of kids like in space and stuff.
I was gonna ask if y'all had seen Mr. Pickles.
Oh, I hate that.
Mr. Pickles.
Yeah, I hate that
show. No, that terrible dog.
Yeah, that show was
terrible. Absolutely.
I brought it up because it's the same guys who did Super Jail, but it's just like it is such a grotesque show visually.
Yeah.
But the story is actually interesting. Like they actually have progression through season 1.
I can't
still watch. It's a guilty pleasure for sure. Yeah, it's definitely hard. I got to do like
a good one I was watching was it Onion and Apple or Apple?
Oh, Apple and Onion. Yeah, that's a Cartoon Network show. I like that show a lot too. I find it very, very charming.
Okay. He's charming.
Yeah, it's cute. Like it's not
sophisticated.
Yeah, it's not very deep at all. Like they don't do anything like mind altering, but it's charm. Like they're funny. Like they're cute. They do like weird songs every now and then. Like it's just funny. Yeah. I like it.
Is that We Bear Bears feeling?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
But to go back to
some Midnight Gospel.
Yeah, the Midnight
definitely
Gospel.
Not on that same realm.
That definitely looks to be very adult. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it works, because I'm hoping it's not over the top for the sake of being raunchy. You know what I mean? Like raunchy just to be raunchy.
Devilman Crybaby.
Yes. I feel like a lot of that stuff could have been skipped. Like sex scenes just for the sake of sex scenes.
But I feel like that kind of fit with the
honestly,
because they were dealing with like hell. Value. They were dealing with like hell.
They were doing stuff
like heaven and hell.
Like
come on.
In that.
Yeah, some stuff I think like when he knifed the girl in the club. The dude with the white hair. I was just like, what was the point of that?
Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
So, but like at the end, I don't want to spoil it.
I know what the ending was.
I'm just saying, like, because from the escalation from that in the beginning to the end, I feel like it kind of feels justified with the way.
The thing about
I don't know how people are calling that a masterpiece, man.
That show was incredible in a way. honestly.
I thought it was good. I don't think it was. I give it a 7.5.
I rank it higher.
That's the highest I'll ever give it. That's the highest I'll ever give it. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
But no, yeah, we totally went on another tangent.
You were talking about grotesque things. You're hoping that it's not like that.
Yeah, it's not just for
no reason.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because like the whole, like, first thing that caught me was he, like I said, he opened up the cheeks and just went through and came out a portal. And I'm like,
but that's
2020 stuff though.
Like the premise of the show, I find to be very interesting. Like I know they're probably gonna illustrate it with these kind of super weird, trippy, grotesque things, but like it's like a kid. Like all that stuff is like a simulation. It's like Simulation Theory, the TV show, essentially. So like he's like doing a podcast show where he can enter this simulation pod and simulate all these different variables and like basically different dimensions, and then he interviews people from those places, and then like that's his podcast to like his world. Okay. So like I feel I feel like his world is way more grounded than some of the stuff you see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then he's like going and experiencing like these super surreal environments. So like,
but for me,
it's like a Futurama.
Yeah. It's very much so kind of Futurama-esque, where it's like these are touchstones that you're familiar with, but just taken to like an extreme degree of futurism. In this term, it's more like dimensionalism, which I guess is sort of Rick and Morty-esque as well. So
true, yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of interesting stories you can tell using the kind of landscape of infinite possibilities. You know,
I'm hoping it does that, but for me, I hope it doesn't try to do what Rick and Morty does. I think they do it in a way that nobody else, I don't think, can do it. Because when I look at Rick and Morty and I look at Adventure Time, the things that apply for me Adventure Time weren't the same things that hit me for Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty was, it has some shock value, but the shock value was in the overall and everything that was going on.
Everything had a purpose.
Everything looped into each other. Mm-hmm. For me, Adventure Time worked because of the characters. Some were cute. You were endeared to those characters and the stories that they were telling. BMO, you got Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, her whole vampire arc. Mm-hmm. There was nothing raunchy about those things, but there were subtle hints at things
were dark too.
But you liked those things because you were involved in the characters. So
I'm sorry. I started laughing because you said there were subtle hints to the raunchy stuff. That reminded me of the the Lumpy Space Princess episode where like she and Finn kind of spent the night together.
Oh my goodness!
Do y'all remember that?
I didn't get to watch that one. I still need to catch up on that.
Oh, watch that episode, please. It's very funny.
During this whole lockdown, that might be one of the shows I go through.
Yeah, I got like the last couple, I think 10 episodes left to finish.
How many seasons?
Oh, it's a
7.
It's a good number. Yeah.
Oof. I think it was 7.
Most of it's on Hulu, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I know, but I know once I finish it, it's over. So I've been trying to not to finish it.
Bro, I hate that feeling. I'm like really close to finishing. And I am not rushing it because I really like this season. Tangents on tangents on tangents. I mean, that's what happens when we locked inside.
That's what happens. But I'm hoping, because I don't see me being endeared to the characters I saw in the trailer. I just don't. So if I'm not, then it has to definitely, the humor definitely has to be there. Like it has to be on point.
I feel you. I mentioned this last week, I believe, but one of the things that makes a good story to me is one of the two: either a usual story told in an unusual way, or unusual story told in a usual way. So I feel like this is going to kind of be, especially with the premise that you described, Sigma, it's going to be a usual story, a podcaster, in an unusual setting,
right?
And I think that's what's going to be fun about this, if they do it right, especially just like Jeff said, if the comedy's good and the overall arc is good. I mean, and that's just basic for anything, really. Like if it's all good, it's good. Yeah.
But I mean, Pendleton Ward,
but it looks like they have a good track record.
Yeah, like so he hasn't really done anything that's kind of substantially like bad. Like they all seem to share links in terms of like the trippy art style and like kind of the cutesy nature, but then also like this weird deeper storytelling kind of underneath the surface. So I'm really kind of excited to see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Gamer, did you have any other thoughts about the Midnight Gospel?
probably not going to be my cup of tea.
And the soundtrack has to be there.
True. Yeah, Adventure Time did have a good soundtrack.
The way the art style looks, I'm expecting a 80s like 80s techno kind of what's that shoot. There was a Far Cry variation. It was like a DLC.
Blood Dragon?
Yeah, that kind of deal where it's
like the 80s like future 80s.
Future 80s, yeah. I feel like that kind of feel would match the style of this show. Just what I'm seeing visually.
Okay.
But,
yeah, we'll see if that's what they choose then.
Let's see if that's what they choose.
Music-wise. But we're going to move on to more, beloved TV shows making new reappearances. Jeff, you also brought this to... Well, we found this, but I know Jeff was the one who is probably most excited to hear this news.
Because I didn't think you guys would be excited as I am about it.
I am actually very excited for this.
You was
right.
You
want to let us know what...
talking about me.
So Bleach is coming back. So it's been decided 2021. No more guessing. No more trying to pick out clues whether it's coming back or it's not.
Yeah, because there's been a ton of rumors about it.
Yes, for over a year.
Yeah, for a long while.
So so it's been coming back 2021.
The show's been going for what, like 8 years? They said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna kill Ichigo and just get somebody else? That'd be cool. I'll watch it.
Well, it's an interesting end at the end of it. So I don't know. I'm wondering if they're going to end it or are they going to have another generation, kind of like what's going on. Boruto and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's coming back for the last arc. They haven't said if that's going to be it. So I'm interested to see how it does. I did want to see how the manga translates over to the anime because there was a lot of things that hit at the end that, on me, as far as a fan goes, wanted to see for the duration of the series that we just didn't see.
Yeah.
And this kind of opens up a lot of that.
Go ahead, I got a question now. Now, did the manga end at the same spot that the anime ended?
No, manga kept going.
Yeah.
And,
okay. And actually, because of that, I kept up with some of that. I just never finished the manga because I'm just not a manga reader. But I did like where the story was going. Like, I thought that story was really cool. And now that it's finally going to be animated, I will absolutely go back and watch it.
So that's what I was going to ask. Is that confirmed, that part, that extra part after the anime stop? That's what
that's what this is.
Okay. You even see it in the artwork when they show Yawachi?
Like it's like Yawabach. Or something.
The king of the Quincy's.
Yeah.
The Quincy King. So when they show him, that kind of for anybody who played like the Bleach, Brave Souls, the mobile gacha game, it's actually one of the first gacha games, one of the most popular ones as well, that they deal with a lot of these characters in there too.
One of the first gacha games.
One of the most popular.
Oh,
Bleach Brave Souls came out like years ago.
Before
the whole gacha thing became like a craze as it is now.
Mobily.
So then you have the good thing is you can see Ichigo in his form in Jump Force.
Yeah.
So they did take it out from the manga as opposed to the anime. You can see him with his two swords in the actual Jump Force video game, and he uses some of his moves. So you can kind of get a hint of what's going on in the upcoming anime release in some of the stuff he does in Jump Force.
Jump Force is still on Game Pass, everybody.
For free.
If you
free.
Well, I mean,
even if you download it just to see Ichigo, I mean, win-win. The good thing about this, I'm predicting we won't have any fillers because that's what kind of killed the anime. The pace of the anime and the manga were too close where they had to start filling stuff in. There were some fillers that were good, some just needed to be cut, like the whole
I agree.
Arc just could have been cut. The Zanbakuto Rebellion was really good.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with the manga, right?
Nothing.
Yeah, but all that was actually really cool.
Mm-hmm. So the good thing is there won't be any fillers. If they are, they got a whole year. This is stuff they'll be road mapping out this far out. Hey, even though this isn't part of the story, this will be an interesting side story we could tell for what happened in between the anime and the manga or the events from now and then. So that's something that we got to look forward to and not have to worry about the fillers.
I got one more question on that.
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm gonna ask for this. I'm gonna ask you to present this to us next week, though.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a new viewer to Bleach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure some of our viewers haven't watched Bleach. Should we watch every single episode that's out right now, or is there like a list of just skip this part, jump these episodes?
There's a list.
I'm pretty sure that's out there.
There's a list.
Is there something that you personally would recommend as a hardcore Bleach fan, Superman Jeff 12?
I will get back to you guys next week, but I would cut out the parts that can be missed, that don't add anything to the story, but also don't take away from it. So like the Bounce series, that could have been avoided. There's no story intricate parts in there that if I didn't see that, there's nothing that would take away from the story.
I think that was the first filler arc, right?
Yes. That was like right after the first season.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was pretty long, so
I gotta watch the whole first season?
Yeah, the first season's not that long.
I would watch the whole first season. First season was actually pretty good.
To be honestly,
like 5 episodes in, how many times? It's so hard.
Honestly, only like that when you already know what's going on in the future. Like for me, that's how.
What kind of show is that?
if I know how powerful this character is going to get, watching them struggle in the beginning for me is always.
I see, because I kind of feel that way about Naruto. Like watching them at the very beginning as kids, I'm kind of not as interested. Because I know that they get past this stuff. But when I watched it the first time, I was way into it. Similarly with Bleach. But to argue that, honestly, if you watch the Bleach live action movie, you could skip a lot of the beginning of the first season because it's actually good. And
it's crazy. It's crazy because I think I mentioned that a while back. I actually liked the live action Bleach. It was
so you watched
corny.
It already?
I actually watched it. Yeah, and
it was corny, but it was good. Like
but it was And the wigs were terrible. We can talk about it another time. But
and then
so the live action was actually good, but the anime I felt like dropped so short and it was just so weird. Like they did not set up the world in any understandable way in the first season.
See, I watched the anime over maybe like 4 or 5 times. So
watch it without thinking about what happens in the future, because that's where I'm at. And it is very difficult. This was the
first anime that actually got me into anime, and that first season is what kind of cemented everything. I didn't jump ahead. I watched it in chronological order, and I was just engulfed in Bleach. That's why I became such a big Bleach fan, because that was the first anime. Well, not the first anime. I watched anime in the beginning and kind of fell off, but then when I got back into when I started watching Bleach, it was just like, nah. This is it.
This is for me.
This is for me. This is what I'm gonna be doing. But for me, okay.
No, I was gonna say because I was also a very, very big Bleach fan back when it was airing. Like would watch like marathon and blah blah blah, right? But I will say that looking back on it, like every now and then someone will post like a scene from like old Bleach, like remember when Ichigo did this? Remember when Ichigo did that? Whatever, right? And when I watch those scenes back, I do realize like I'm invested in the story because I liked those characters and where they were going. But in terms of like the actual events of what's like when they fight, like none of it is actually entertaining anymore. Like
it's so hard to watch right now. Like I cannot get past the.
It doesn't hold up well.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't hold up. Yeah,
especially visually. So I'm hoping they remaster it, because when you go back and watch it,
they don't have to. It's gonna be new. Like that's why I'm so excited.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, this is.
I'm hoping they remaster
Bleach.
the earlier episodes.
Oh, you want them
to?
Okay.
Just so that way, if it does, like you said, gets any new people, hey, I want to check it out. I never watched it. There's some people never seen Bleach, but if it doesn't, if they have to go back and watch the old episodes, kind of like Hunter x Hunter when they remastered some of the older episodes.
Hunter x Hunter's good from the get-go. Don't even worry.
The art style there's a big difference.
Yeah, the animation is a little hard to watch for the older version.
Yeah.
The older version. Yeah. Oh, I'll give you that.
Yeah. So,
but I don't think the way it looks is as bad as just the way it's presented. Like
the storytelling is really bad in the first season.
Yeah, you gotta think about when it came out, how long it came.
Yeah, it is an older. Yeah, it's a much older show.
Stories that are old.
No, but some stuff back then kind of had the same trope. Where you look at today, a lot of those tropes have evolved.
Bleach almost feels like the He-Man of anime to me. It feels like a whole random stuff.
I feel like
this is the show.
I can see where that makes sense, but honestly, for me, it's mostly the fight choreography. Like that's where it's kind of dropping the ball the most.
I love the fights.
Like compare it to Naruto, right?
That
was a show that was out around the same time.
True.
But Naruto, when those characters fight one another, like it's exciting, right?
To me, I think you can't compare the two for me.
But you kind of have to at this point because
Naruto
set a standard, and especially if you look at anime today, like look at all the the super most popular anime now, like Demon Slayer, Fire Force, like they have really well choreographed,
excellent
action scenes.
But you
like
gotta
the Fate
think
series.
about the time.
Bleach has to catch up.
Out.
But I'm not talking
the
about
same time as Bleach.
Oh, we're talking about what's coming out now.
Yeah, I'm saying
Naruto was different. There was a lot of hand-to-hand combat. There wasn't much hand-to-hand combat in Bleach, and the fighting was different.
It was more. It was closer to like the way Dragon Ball Z handled fights. In terms of, we're powerful, I'm throwing powers at you, and you're losing to my power and my willpower and stuff. Like, like the struggle story-wise, I was into back then, but the actual fight, I need more from them now. So I'm hoping that now that they get their second chance to do an updated show, they see what else is out there, they can actually make those, sword fights something of a spectacle. Like the Fate series specifically. All their characters use weapons, and their fights are amazing.
Very good.
Like that's what Bleach fights should look like.
Episode,
very good. I will say that because that Archer and Saber fight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
Let
me tell you something. Gilgamesh is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, that makes sense.
That dude. Why does that make sense?
Because he's a douche.
Because he's a douchebag? No, he's so cool, though. No,
in every incarnation he is.
No, you're right. He's absolutely a douchebag. But I think he's really cool about the way he is. When he first showed up and he, quote, unquote, killed Assassin, right? They put on that fake show. Yeah, that looked so damn cool. First of all, Assassin was a cool ass character from the get-go, and he's like going through all the security stuff and and he finally like gets to where he thought he was, and boy just pinned his hand on there. He's like, "How dare you even look up at me?" And he hit his head back down. Oh my gosh, that man
was a good character. They made sure you hated him, but you respected him because you knew how powerful.
Right.
That fight between him and Ryder,
his hubris is earned.
Yes, 100%. That's the stuff like that. That stuff gets me hyped. I'm not saying I always agree with the morals by any means, but I always love.
He was a fantastic character, and that's how you know that's a good villain because you love him but you hate him.
Exactly.
If he was weak, it'd just be like,
it'd be boring. Like, why'd he even do anything?
But speaking of good villains, Aizen from Bleach is actually, I think, an amazing villain who kind of doesn't get the ending he deserves. But he does make an appearance in this new arc.
Who does say it's not his ending.
Right, so...
And we'll see what happened to him while he was imprisoned in the Sirte and see what transpired and how he came out the other side. Because if you noticed, his whole thing was he wanted to be the new Soul King.
Mm-hmm.
That was his thing. And they haven't touched on him since that ended. So it's interesting to see how he was left and what's going on with him. But
it's funny you mentioned Aizen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just going to say, any of my close friends who know me and like Bleach, they tell me to watch it to get to Aizen because they say I would like that character.
He's very methodical.
He's a very compelling villain.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there. That's my only problem right now. Sure. It's just hard to get there.
And he's a nice guy about it. Like, he's a douche, but he's that nice douche. He's like, I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. Yes.
Like, I mean, these are just facts. Like, you want me to lie to you?
Gamer, have you watched Bleach? Are you a fan of Bleach? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
It just couldn't hold my attention.
So you did give it a try.
I did. So the episode that I remember, I got to the point where the big, huge, buff, quiet guy with the hair over his face. He got
the one black dude.
he's like Mexican,
he's a Brazilian or something like that.
I guess he ran into one of the enemies, and then he somehow got the ability to fight back, and I can't remember anything else.
Yes, it was with the canary and that invisible dude, and the invisible villain was talking to him, but he supposedly couldn't hear him or see him, but then he was talking back. It was so weird, bro. That was one of the. I remember that specifically. I was like, "What the heck?"
That
is going
starts to get
on?
explained a little bit more, but honestly, that is probably one of the weaker aspects of the Bleach story. Honestly, like, what happens with Ichigo's friends?
Yeah, they try to tie everybody up into
it. But I remember, like, when I was in high school, my friends used to talk about Bleach a whole lot about, oh yeah, I would have this sort of power, and I was just like, what? I mean. It again, like all the anime that you guys are talking about, I feel really out of it because I've watched like an episode or like 30 minutes and I'm like, this is so boring. Like,
oh man, that's rough.
It's like it just can't hold my attention, especially if it's predictable. Like Sigma hit on, oh, you know what this character will look like afterwards. So it really makes the part right now hard to get through sometimes. Mm-hmm. With me, it's like, oh, okay. I like, most, I think this is a safe word for me to use. Most harem anime, whether it be male or female, you can tell what's going to happen. You could tell the circumstances of whatever. And it's just like, okay, well, I don't need anything that I can predict. Switch, like,
no, I feel you.
And that's why it's like, I get most of my anime through you guys. Like, you guys
recommendations.
Well, actually, not even recommendations. And my wife kind of hates me with this, but I just watch things a little differently. Like, if it's boring or stupid, I will skip it because I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But if you retain my attention enough from the get-go, then I will watch all of it. Like
Demon Slayer.
A lot of people told me about Demon Slayer. My wife went through My Hero Academia and was like, you need to do this. And I'm like, but I hate him, but he's stupid. Like that sort of thing. Because it just didn't grab me. But I recently finished Beastars. And
oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Oh my!
Yeah, I watched that last week.
Goodness.
I need to watch that.
Oh dear!
It's not my usual cup of tea, but it was good.
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. I haven't started it yet.
It's the best way for me to describe it. Think of Zootopia, but take out the Disney.
Yeah, pretty much add the anime aspect to it, where this guy's a genius. This guy's has that sulky personality, and you got some promiscuism going on everywhere. So
that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah,
it does sound interesting.
So that's kind of what I think about with Bleach. It's just like, oh great, I barely know anything about this, so maybe I might like it, or maybe I'll wait for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid season 2.
Okay. So we're gonna move off of anime and onto TV. Blue, you are gonna take the lead on this next topic,
bruh. It blew up the internet as soon as it dropped. The Mandalorian season 2 is casting Rosaria Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, bro. I think that's a great cast.
Yeah, it is. Like
100%. Like, the first season of Mandalorian was great. I have no reason to doubt the second season. So far.
So they're essentially telling you straight off the bat before the thing even airs, hey, we're gonna show you some Jedi in season 2. Like why is something like that significant for The Mandalorian, which previously was kind of like a cowboy-esque show?
Technically at this time, Ahsoka's not a Jedi. That's why this is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to do too much into this because I know some of y'all are watching Rebels. But right now, Ahsoka is not a Jedi, and that's the coolest part about this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know a lot of what happened to her past I wouldn't even say episode 3, but let's just keep it simple. After episode 3 and on, you don't, after the Clone Wars, you don't know what happens to Ahsoka.
Yeah. Even after Rebels, you don't know what.
Even after Rebels, exactly, because you know some crazy stuff. If you finish Rebels, you know some crazy stuff happens to her. So this is a nice little middle ground where she was really finding herself and becoming the person that you see in Rebels and coming from the person that you see in Clone Wars. So one, I think Rosario Dawson could pull this off. She's an amazing actress, and I think just even physically, she looks so close
so
to
much like it was funny that it was funny that she was in the news saying she wanted the part, because as I was rewatching it and seeing Ahsoka's face, and what's funny is because all the other characters, Disney apparently has their likeness, so like they use Hayden Christensen's face, they use whatever the name, Senator Palpatine, Count Dooku, all those actors, their faces, Samuel L. Jackson, they're all in that show. Mm-hmm. And Ahsoka Tano is a new character who's not tied to any kind of actress. So you can see the difference. But I'm like, you know what? She kind of looks like Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. And I don't know if that was done retroactively that they matched it up, or they had planned it
just so happened,
You know what I mean? But
she's really a perfect fit.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm excited about it because, like you said, we don't know from episode... one of the first new one was episode 7.
Yeah.
To when we see her in Rebels, we don't know any information where she's been, what she's been doing, how that's going to play into Baby Yoda. All those questions start to open up.
So does Rebels take place before
Rebels takes place? No, it's
it will be before Mandalorian, right? Because the Mandalorian is after the fall of the Empire, after they destroy the second Death Star, and Rebels is after Order 66, because Darth Vader's still alive and stuff like that.
So my question is: can you, in like 3 sentences, explain, like, get me into this show? You know me decently. You know me decently. Can you give me 3 sentences to get into this show? Because, again, everyone who I know raved about this. Now, I saw the memes and I'm like, okay, haha, funny. But if it is as good as people are all saying, I would love to watch it. But it's like not necessarily bottom of the barrel, but like the scum at the bottom of the barrel as far as things for me to watch, just because... I mean, I don't dislike Star Wars, but I have no idea where I even am or anything like that to say that I have some sort of foundation to watch this show.
Okay. I will say, 1, you don't need to know too much history to watch this show.
Okay, that's good.
2, it's a story about a space cowboy. And 3, there's some pretty famous faces in it that are fun to see. I think those are the 3 things that might sell you on this show. If you watch the first episode with that, I think you'll finish the season out.
I do like Space Cowboy. Okay.
Yeah, I know that was going to be the seller. I probably should have did that last.
Everything else you said after Space Cowboy was like, what?
Yeah.
But, it's very much so a space western. Like
space western for sure.
Okay. All right.
It's good. I can't think of a show that has made me want to jump out my seat. And this does that.
Because I can think of 3 different scenes right off the bat.
Jump out of your seat.
And when I see that, Blue automatically knows.
I know it's exactly the first one you're talking about. Because we still talking about it in Borderlands, bro. Yep. Like, yo.
This is the way.
This is the way. There's just little sayings. Like, everything's so cool, calm, and down to earth. Yeah, there's at least the very first scene. I know what Jeff is talking about with... I don't want to spoil it, right? Because that's a significant event.
We actually did Blue and Jeff talks on this too.
Did.
That's true.
Yeah.
We did.
So gamer, don't go watch that, because
I
think that's full of spoilers.
I'll take that. I'll take that off my watch later.
Yeah.
But I will say, not to like rain on the parade.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Don't go into it overhyped, because I personally don't feel like it's not the best thing that Star Wars has produced, honestly. Like I would say that the Clone Wars is that, as far as what I've seen.
100%.
Like the Mandalorian is a good show, like, but like don't put it in your head like, oh, this is going to be some fantastic.
To me, you can't compare the animation and the the not. I mean, a live action.
Well, I'm just
It's
talking
the
about.
best live
I'm just talking
action
about in
thing.
terms of the story they're telling. Like this is very insular. Like it's kind of a one
Well,
shot.
it's
thing.
isolated
It's a
from
small
everything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas
this
the
is
Clone
isolated.
Wars kind of encapsulates a whole lot of the Star Wars universe and makes a lot of the stuff in it that either didn't make sense or wasn't interesting a lot more sensical and a lot more interesting, which is why I like it so much. I feel like, but The Mandalorian is good. It's just it's its own thing.
Yeah, it gives you questions you didn't know you had.
Yeah,
and it does answer some ones you didn't also know you had.
I think the Clone Wars fixed the Star Wars saga. Especially, it made Episode 3 worth watching.
And it made it more appealing to people who haven't actually been able to get into the movies as well.
Right.
Yeah, like this guy here. This guy up here.
Okay, so we'll jump off of Star Wars stuff, move on to some more troubling news. Blue.
Bro. What are these cats doing, man? So initially, right? The headline is GameStop workers say company is failing to address coronavirus. Yo, GameStop was still open through this whole quarantine stuff. There's all this lockdown all over the country. And these employees are pissed off about it, as they should be. It's not safe.
Forced to come into work.
Yeah.
They also weren't being given adequate cleaning supplies while they were at work that they shouldn't have probably been forced to come to.
They touched these plastic cases for all these physical games that a lot of, well, I was gonna say snot-nosed kids. I was getting upset, but
sweatshops, man.
People who aren't decent enough to stay at home are going into the GameStop and they're touching this stuff and they're handing it to you to and you can't even. No, bro, that's dangerous. That's so dang dangerous. So yes, they were complaining about that earlier this week, and then recently, I think we just got the news in this morning. I want to say
yesterday or this morning, they finally
closed the store to customers. Now it looks like employees are still going in just to do basic maintenance in the shop and doing delivery at the door. So
curbside drop off
exactly, which is a lot more safe. But I mean, GameStop, is this essential personnel right now? Now,
it was clearly out of desperation.
Yeah, I was about to say a lot of folks say they need to stay open.
Yeah, I feel
they don't have the money or the capital to support being closed for business. And
they
another
just
thing
hired old boy.
Yeah, so the question is, did he have any influence on this? Did he have any?
I hope not.
Yeah, because that would totally tarnish his name. But I can't imagine. He's at such a very high level. This is managerial stuff. This is regional stuff. I really do wonder what effect board members have on the daily happenings and how long it'll take for board members brand new ones to kind of change, because I'm assuming they're just giving suggestions, right? Maybe make the company go this way, or they're vetoing certain ideas because they have positions when people come and ask them, hey, should we do this, should we do that? But in this crisis, the stores were met with either close down for safety or stay open because there are some big releases on the way and you need the money. And they chose to stay open because they need the money. And it's just a total PR nightmare in that case.
It's terrible, yo. And it honestly, it makes, in a sense, I'm not saying it's crapping on all of us, but it doesn't look good for the gaming community to be doing stuff like that.
You would hope that the government has a lot of bailout things for a lot of companies that have to close because of this and can't support to either pay their employees or being out or to pay their bills. I mean, if any time would be the time okay to close and hopefully come out of it okay, now would be that time. Because if you notice, like I said, a lot of bills are being passed to help bail out these companies and help people have to be out of work because they can't go to work because of everything that's going on.
That is a factor. Gamer, what were you going to add?
Well, Blue had mentioned something, and I kind of wanted to press into that a little bit. What does the action of GameStop finally being closed due to the coronavirus has to do with the gaming community?
So what I meant by that is when people who aren't gamers and people who don't understand the gaming community, a lot of these old heads in politics right now, in the government right now, they're looking at the whole thing and they're saying these are some nasty nerds who could get people killed. Now, I'm not saying it's accurate, but I'm saying it could be viewed as such.
No, I get what he means.
I guess I still don't, only because from my understanding, when you had mentioned that it doesn't look good on the gaming community, I didn't see the gaming community even
including
in control
GameStop.
of that. Well, no, in control of that situation.
Right, like I say, I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying, but that's how it could be viewed. With people that are completely ignorant.
Someone who's completely on the outside. Gaming community includes the companies, the retailers, as well as the actual players.
Anything to do with
gaming. So if any of them do something bad, then everybody looks bad.
Okay. All right. I understand. I got it now. Okay. No, that does make sense. I can see the unfortunate optics of this isn't necessary. Why are you here? This is, why? Yeah, I got that.
Because even to push that point a little further, there were some people, and this is just a colloquial thing that I've noticed. Even some people on the internet, after responding to the story of GameStop staying open, were like, "Oh, well, I hope they'll still have my pre-order, or I hope I'll be able to pick up my Animal Crossing or my Doom."
Yeah, so like people still want to go.
So there were actual gamers who were like, "Sure, I'm fine with this. Like, I'll put on a hazmat suit and go to GameStop." Like,
it's bad. It's irresponsible, and bro. There had to be something from up top saying, "Yo, close down. What are y'all doing?"
Except it wasn't. It was the
exact opposite. It wasn't, right?
Like, apparently,
like what the heck?
Because states were mandating businesses to close unless they were considered essential, meaning they sold food or medicine, things like that. And GameStop told employees, if the cops come by to tell you to close, give them this letter that says we're essential because we sell keyboards and mice and things like that, which should be essential for people who are working from home. Like, they were trying to get around it, like just purely disregarding the fact that it was dangerous to their staff.
Super dangerous.
So, like, that's just not in any way a good look. Like, it's just really bad.
And now this is a tiny little thing that I do want to mention. You don't hear anyone talking about stocking shelves or flipping burgers or anything like that is not a job anymore. I just have to put that out there. Because I have a lot of friends who work in retail, and it ain't easy and it ain't nice. And it doesn't look real good when the company you work for is trying to do whatever it is that they can to make sure that you stay open during a pandemic where only the necessary stores should be open. It's like, oof.
Pretty heavy. Real quick. And this is gonna be my little caveat. Just talking about the future of gaming and releases and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys saw, but Xbox Series X is supposed to be holiday this year.
Yep, November.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I saw that story. That apparently is a mistake.
Well, no, they said Thanksgiving specifically was a mistake, but then the tweet from I can't remember who it was.
Larry
they
Herb?
Confirmed. I think that's who it was.
Yeah, Major Nelson.
They confirmed that it was in the holiday season, but not necessarily Thanksgiving.
Because I think it was always holiday 2020. That was what they said when they first unveiled it.
But everybody was expecting it to be pushed back because of everything that's going on.
Yeah, because some retailer date leaked that said literally Thanksgiving. And then that went all across the internet. And then they went on and was like, no, it's not Thanksgiving. It's still holiday 2020, like we said. So that was kind of a false alarm. So I really wouldn't put any stock in that. Like, it'll more than likely it'll come out sometime before Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Do they give a price? Just a little.
No,
I didn't see no price.
Yeah. So that's still a mystery.
So, Casey, when that comes out, send that to me, okay? In the spreadsheet.
Wow, you did a whole entire spreadsheet with just the price.
I want the breakdown of how much each part was, everything.
All right, so with that, we're gonna move on. Speaking of rumors, actually, it's a good segue. Apparently, there are some rumors floating around regarding Sony. Gamer, you want to take this one?
Yes. So, as reported on GameRant.com, Sony's games could be revitalized as PlayStation exclusives. Now we all know the unfortunate games that have been coming out from Konami. And in the I'm trying to be really nice here. Because I'm just thinking of Metal Gear Survive in my head right now, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a big oof. But if we can possibly get give me what Sony did with Spider-Man with this, and you got me. Give me a significantly better Castlevania, because what in the Sam heck have I been playing recently? Stop doing this to me. Do not make another God of War clone. Give me my Metroidvania experience back, please.
Lords of Shadow wasn't bad.
Yeah, I think some people really do actually like
the first one was pretty good.
Well, and here's the thing. Everyone has a particular set of particulars. I'll just put it like that. And that game assaulted my eyes and my thumbs for having to play it. I would rather not. I would rather play Metroid. What was the one that Team Ninja did?
Other M.
Other M. I would rather play that game every day.
It wasn't the same.
You're right. It wasn't the same.
Up. That's hurtful.
It was bad.
Well, I mean, to go deeper into this rumor. And it is a rumor. None of this is substantiated.
Yeah, we don't know anything for sure.
Basically popped up on 4chan, but apparently the stuff that came out here coincides with some other rumors that have been leaking elsewhere. So there's a little bit of weight to it, but still nothing concrete. Essentially, Sony wants to buy Castlevania and Metal Gear and Silent Hills and basically make them exclusive to their platform and revitalize them. Specifically, Castlevania, apparently they're trying to look to do like a Bloodborne-esque type game.
Yeah, especially with the new series coming out.
Right, yeah, that would actually be really cool. That
sounds appealing.
Right, yeah. So,
but for me, it's going to be appealing if what, Jeff? If I can make my own character, right?
Own character, exactly. And it should be like that, where you make your own.
In a Castlevania game? You don't want to play as a Belmont?
No, I don't want to play as a Belmont. I've seen them do their thing.
My last name would be Belmont, but my first name should be to be Ravik. If that's what I wanted to be.
If I worked with the Belmonts on a regular basis, that would be like, yeah, you know, the Belmonts and the Hermans or whatever. My character's last name used to work together back in the day. Now we back. You know, that would be a cool thing. Like, let's do it.
I prefer just a full story that they want to tell about Castlevania. That's me.
I feel like customization.
You said no. That's not you.
Provide that much more. It involves you more, and it makes you become invested in that character. I feel like,
honestly, I feel like a lot of times your character feels apart from the story they're trying to tell. Like,
if the game's done right, it doesn't.
Boom.
Fair, but then like, what is the story? It's about Castlevania, right? It's about Dracula. It's about Dracula's lineage, Dracula's followers, and the Belmont family fighting him throughout the ages. Like, what does that have to do with your character?
Was it only the Belmonts fighting through the ages?
You have speakers.
Eventually, it was like some other people, but they were always related to the Belmonts.
It was a lineage of the Belmonts.
So if my character is one of those that's related to the Belmonts, then
it can still be your character. He can be a Belmont. It doesn't have to be a Belmont.
I'll even take the last name. That's kind of funky, but
exactly. You know, Blue Belmont.
I'll compromise. Yeah, that actually sounds cool now. Now that you say it out loud, Blue Belmont. Yeah. No, okay. Hold on. That's cool. I'm gonna write that down.
But I do like the RPG aspect to it. There was a Castlevania game where I believe you played as Alucard for the PlayStation, where you had like pets and stuff.
Oh wow.
It was kind of to like the Summoner from Phantasy Star Online, where you fought these monsters and you collected them and you made them your own, that type of stuff.
That does sound familiar.
Oh my goodness.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, idea.
But yeah, that's gonna be cool, man.
But there are also rumors in regards to this thing that Sony, who is, you know, bedfellows with Hideo Kojima, would want to make Metal Gear, you know, a first party title and then put Kojima back on it. Yeah, especially and specifically they want to do remasters, kind of in the Final Fantasy VII remake vein of Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 or whatnot, with Kojima at the helm.
I would just love them to reboot the series.
I mean, yeah, they might as well do that.
Remastering, yeah.
But my whole thing is like
Symphony of the Night.
Yes. Oh, that's the one you. Okay, I didn't know they had like pet control in it because that's the only Alucard game I was aware of.
Me too.
Yeah, Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
That's good. Good catch. Good catch.
But I mean, Kojima's been saying for years that he's been trying to stop making Metal Gear games.
He's been trying to get away from it. I think I would like to see Naughty Dog take a hold at it.
At a Metal Gear game?
I would.
Yeah, just reboot it.
Huh?
Sucker Punch.
I don't know. Like,
yes.
Do you feel like an American studio could like take on like the super weird Japanese Metal Gear series? I feel like that's a tall order.
Okay, give it to From Software.
But that's not a Sony studio.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you. Just like think about a Dark Souls like Metal Gear game.
That'd be weird.
But
Castlevania is going down that vein. Metal Gear.
I would like to see Castlevania go that way. I would love to see that because
I think
it fits into that world. Like exactly. Like between the monsters and the weapons, it just all fits into that particular aesthetic.
I can see that.
If I could actually be a speaker fighting, now that would be me. That would definitely be me.
You should be able to have speakers. You should be able to be like some type of vampire if you want.
I was gonna say like maybe you're a summon from Alucard.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
You're part of his lineage.
Exactly. Yeah, you could choose which of the three that you want to go through the story. And okay, come on, we making a game now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
this is good.
That's the main reason why I wanted this topic in the discussion, because it's actually very exciting. Like, Konami has some amazing IPs and really haven't been doing much with them.
No, yeah.
Even if Sony were to make them exclusive, which I'm not the biggest fan of, I'd be happy for them to put quality developers on these projects to kind of reinvigorate 100%. Them. Like, I would really love to see that.
I love the Castlevania world, especially with the new series coming out. Once again, it just revitalizes that, and it's just great to see that after so many years is being used, without little sprinkles here and there, but for the most part, it's been pretty dormant throughout the years.
Right.
But with the whole animated Netflix series going into season 3, another season coming out, I think it's the
3 just dropped, right?
Yeah, she dropped 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I mean, I finished it that day, but you know.
Yeah, I just recently finished it myself.
I can't do that yet.
I forgot to see how many episodes was in the season.
Oh, bro. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so just a helpful tip for those who aren't used to staying at home all day and binging stuff. Always check how many episodes it is so you can pace yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, okay, I mean, anything else from this rumor you guys decided about? There's also, Silent Hills.
But I thought there was already talks of a Silent Hill game coming out, or was that just a movie that was supposed to be?
No, those were the rumors that we were hearing. So this is some of the stuff that kind of coincides with what we've already been hearing.
So it might already be in development.
Maybe, yeah. That's kind of what this is positing.
You know what's crazy? Little blue tangent real quick. If you guys have watched Black Mirror, there's an episode called Playtest.
I remember that.
And yeah, it was about like basically a VR
kind of like a haunted house. It was like a video game, but it was like a
Resident
VR.
Evil. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily Resident Evil, but yeah, a haunted house kind of deal that like amplifies your fears and stuff like that. If something like that comes out, I would be interested to see somebody play that.
It just sounds like a bad idea.
Oh yeah.
In all honesty.
Sending people to the nut house.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, we'll keep going.
But to keep on the Sony tangent or the Sony plotline here, our last topic deals with Sony finally giving us some more details about the PS5, but kind of honestly completely dropping the ball in terms of a reveal. So what was it? Yesterday? 2 days ago?
You talking about the
actual reveal? Yeah. So Sony announced that they were going to do a deep dive on the PlayStation 5 details, right? So everyone was super excited. We sat down to watch the presentation, and we were greeted with essentially the presentation that Sony was going to give for GDC, which was canceled. So this was super high level, super in depth. They're talking about chipsets. They're talking about 3D sound. They're talking about...
this man was talking about sound for like 20 minutes.
Mark Cerny was
knows a lot about sound.
He basically was showing you like infrared graphs of what happens inside your head and how it processes sound. Because that's how deep they got in terms of how the PlayStation 5 is going to deal with 3D audio.
He said, look, you're going to have headphones, right? And then headphones are going to produce sound, right? And then the sound's going to hit your ears, right? And your ears process that through your brain right? This
is essentially what happened. For over 2 hours. 2 hours. Bro. They were going in about
heavy.
Storage, sound, feet, like... They never once showed you what the console even looked like. We still don't know what the PS5 looks like, what the controller looks like.
There was no showmanship or anything.
Now, that doesn't mean that the PS5 is going to be bad. That means that they have a terrible marketing team right now.
well, on that note, we did finally get the specs of the PS5. Yes. So I want to pull that up real fast.
Let's talk about it.
Because this actually is something substantial to hold on to. The PS5 is weaker than the Xbox Series X. Point blank, period. In almost every comparable statistic, they're either the same or worse. And I don't want to say worse, like it's bad. It's just weaker than what Xbox is, displaying.
Yeah, I guess I would put a footnote on it. It's by far in most of these categories. It's not completely different.
Yeah, it's not out of the same. It's not outclassed. You know what I mean?
But it's definitely not outclassed.
The 12 teraflops that Microsoft is toting all over the place. Sony only has 10.2.
10 point
to compare to it. The 10 gigs of write speed, memory bandwidth, Sony only has 448. The internal storage, Xbox has a terabyte. Sony has 825 on their solid state drive.
Yeah,
and you got to think about it where Sony's always toting. Well, not always. That's usually their go-to is we have the most powerful system. This is what we're putting out here. There's nothing that can come close to it, and that's it.
I feel like their main. Go ahead, gamer.
I think hopefully this will be an excellent analogy for this because I did look at those specs and I was wowed by what Xbox had, but I wasn't disappointed with what PlayStation gave.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I kind of think of it as you can shop at Walmart or you can shop at Target.
100%. That's how I feel.
They aren't that different, and that may not necessarily be bad for PlayStation.
Right.
Because it's
the only reason why I say it's not bad. Go ahead. So we all got stuff.
So here's why I say that. Mm-hmm. It's the example of either shopping at Walmart or shopping at Target.
Mm-hmm.
You're technically going to be getting something similar, but not the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not exactly getting a proper Twinkie and then the great value Twinkie. We're not talking about that level of difference where it's like, oh yes, we have the active ingredient of Twinkies. Like, no, we're not talking anything like that.
Styrofoam.
What the
Styrofoam Twinkie? That's terrible.
Write that down. So, but because the differences aren't so huge, if someone is looking at this who perhaps does not own either, will look at this like, wow, the Xbox is blah, blah, blah money. The PS5 is blah, blah, blah money too. And it's not that far off. So they have exclusives. This place has exclusives, all sort of stuff on either ends. So it's like, well, if it's not that different, then,
I think what Gamer's getting at, and what one of my points is because they're not so different, I don't think this is going to sway people. I don't think this is going to be a deciding factor for the console.
I don't think that would have been it to a deciding factor to begin with. Like I said, I think we've covered this before where you have people who are going to get a PlayStation no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are going to get an Xbox no matter what. Yeah. The in-betweens are the presents for Christmas, parents, first-time buyers. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the deals that determine what they get. And that's going to be...
That's true.
If I get an Xbox, there's Game Pass. I get all these games in this library and I don't have to pay for them.
Yeah.
So if I'm paying $700 for a system, I don't have to fork out $120 more for games.
Because if PS5 is like $100 cheaper, you're gonna get a lot of people getting the PS5.
And this spec difference introduces that possibility.
Yes.
Yep. That they can safely make it cheaper. But the thing is, I feel like Xbox knowingly is willing to bite that bullet. They'll give you a stronger system and take a bigger hit. Like they can kind of afford it more so than Sony, even though Sony has sold more consoles.
So check this out now. One of the things that's on the stat chart that we got up is the Xbox Series X. If you look at memory bandwidth version, you got the 6 gigabyte and the 10 gigabyte, right? So the 6 gigabyte is going to be the cheaper one. I can't remember the code name that they had for the cheaper version of the Series X, but they're going to have that economical option. So that also might be Xbox covering their bases for maybe a higher price at the 10 gig spot. It's very possible.
True.
Now, and the other thing to keep in mind with the systems is the Series X is all digital.
Wait, what do you mean all digital?
Like there's no physical discs for the Series X.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
there is.
Yes.
That's why it's backwards compatible with your Xbox One games.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a disc. It's right there on the.
Yeah, I see it right there. That's
the disc drive right there.
Little line right there, boy.
Oh wow. Okay, man, I need coffee. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, that one nipped that in the bud. That's good.
Yep.
It's got a disc drive. That's a good thing that everyone should know
about. All digital thing with the Xbox One release.
I was not thinking about that when I was thinking about the S.
The Series
S.
Oh,
has that been? I don't know if has that been like formally revealed? The Series S.
No, like it's available on the Microsoft Store.
I don't think that would be discless either, because if it's backwards compatible, how do you play your disc?
Well, probably no. I was saying that. Yeah, I was saying that the Xbox Series X that we see. Yeah, I was mistaken, but I know they have an all digital version of the Xbox One.
Oh, you mean
right?
Yes, they have an. That was the one I was thinking of. My apologies. So back to what Blue had said. I really think that it's not going to be. It's going to depend on what they're going to be coming out with as far as video games come that holiday season. Because yes, the Xbox Series X is the on paper more powerful console, but a console's nothing if you don't have anything to play it on.
And honestly, this goes to the crux of the point I was trying to make when you said that Sony being a little weaker doesn't necessarily hurt them. I feel like it does, mainly because that was kind of the only thing that they had other than their game library, which I cannot possibly see sticking out for this next generation. Sony has amazing first-party games. Microsoft will also have amazing first-party games this go-around because they're focusing a whole lot of attention on that. So they're going to be neck and neck there. So the fact that all these other factors Microsoft is kind of evening out, but this one, they beat them on, I feel like they're in trouble. And the thing is, this reveal...
I will say, yes, the PlayStation's definitely beat... The facts are right there. It's beat with the specs. I don't think it's as big as... I don't think it weighs as heavy as you're saying.
But I think what he means is that's always been their marketing strategy.
Right.
We have the most powerful system, hands down, and that's
And I get that they lost that point now.
I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's going to play towards anybody not getting it. I don't think anybody who's getting the PlayStation is going to be like, I'm not getting it now. I just think that can't be part of their marketing anymore.
And that's what I feel is so damaging about this particular way to reveal their console, because their strength was in their first party lineup. They literally said nothing about games in the whole 2 hours that they did this presentation. This presentation was all about the console, and everyone left it underwhelmed. That's the lasting impression that most video game fans have in regards to the new console wars that are starting up. So whenever it is Sony reveals more information, it's already too late.
That's gonna change.
I don't know.
think it's too late.
I feel like it's too late. Because look how long it took for Xbox to lose their foothold based on the one big press conference they did. All that goodwill went out the window. All the course correction that they did after the fact, the majority of people never heard of. This was their first shot at telling the world, oh, here's some PlayStation 5 news. A ton of people tuned into this and left disappointed. The impression in their head right now is Xbox One.
And I can see that.
Yeah, that's what happened last go round.
Right now, I just don't think it's as big as a win as you might be saying. But I feel what you're saying. Right now, yeah, Xbox 100% in the lead. It's not even a question.
But I feel like gamers like us, like we keep watching this develop. Like we can see the tides turning. I don't feel like the greater gaming community does that.
Well, I'll put it like this. So for me, in this particular situation, Xbox was going to be the first one I got anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a PlayStation eventually, but Xbox was going to be the first one I got anyway. If it came that the Xbox Series X was going to be less powerful than the PlayStation, that wouldn't have altered my decision anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have said, well, now I'm going to get a PlayStation. I wouldn't have altered my decision-making at all. So I think the people who are hardcore already made up their minds before any specs were even released. They just know a PlayStation 5's coming out. They already know that that's what they're going to get.
But I feel like the big bucks, like the people,
the swing votes.
Yeah, like the people who basically make a winner or loser of a console generation are not us.
Or the swing votes, yeah.
Yeah, it's not us at all. Like we make up our mind long before.
It's the dads. It's the Christmas gifts.
Right.
It's that, especially going into the Christmas season.
And the narrative across the internet. If anyone who is tertiarily looking into this, if you go to any gaming site, they're going to tell you, oh, the Xbox One is the one that is doing its thing right now. And that's what they're going to leave with because that was their research.
Right now.
And then,
it's only March, bro.
There's going to be marketing.
I need y'all to understand. Like, people don't pay attention to games the way we do. They really don't.
No, that's true.
They really don't. Like years and years after the Xbox One released, people still thought it was online only. Years after. They still thought you could only play your games online. Like, oh, isn't it? I thought you couldn't play physical games on it. No. They changed that like within a month after that conference. But that message doesn't get out there because it's that first impression. Like, this was a bad look from Sony.
Okay. Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. It's
now we got left is marketing, deals, and what each one has to more for less. That's what everybody's gonna be looking for.
It's gonna be deals.
I will,
because right now Game Pass is really holding down all.
It's a super compelling argument for just buying that over the other guy, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say what is maybe working in PlayStation's favor is maybe because they didn't reveal the actual console, they'll get another boost when they do. So like that's get
pretty much what I'm expecting to happen. Right. That's why I'm saying it's so early. So once they do release the more pertinent stuff that we want, like these deals, like the look of the console, like the controller, once they do that, then we can really see who's winning. Of course, yes, it's a bad first impression because this is not what anybody was expecting. But I don't think they're really out of it yet. That's why I'm saying I don't feel like it's that heavy of a blow to the PlayStation 5.
I mean, I'm not saying it's insurmountable. But this is bad. Like,
it's bad.
Like
yeah,
I don't want to pretend like if the roles were reversed and like Sony kind of had all this hype and excitement for the next generation and Xbox was like, okay, I'm going to give you this super granular deep dive on this system and it's not as impressive as what Sony has already shown. I would feel the exact same way. Like, this is bad. Like, this is not the way you should have done this if you're looking to beat the other guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Sony's already in the league.
And that's exactly why I feel like they would do something like this because they're like,
that's
we beat the other guy. We beat the other guy is what's going on in their head. They're not worrying about a future competitor.
I think
that's a bad mindset to have.
I do feel like they're starting at a disadvantage in this just because I don't feel like they're ahead. I think they sold more consoles, but right now they have nothing that can contend with Game Pass. Xbox infrastructure is just so much better than PlayStation as far as
it's funny. My friend who's a PlayStation loyalist just sent me an article. I think it was yesterday that since this virus quarantine, Xbox Live has dropped 2 or 3 times, pretty badly too. And he was like, "Yeah, let me not hear about infrastructure anymore until the Series X comes."
But I mean, it's because of usage, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you got a lot more people. Yeah.
I mean,
well,
can't really fault
people. There's more PlayStation users in general.
No. I mean, just like the reason for the drop is because there was so many people on it. It probably was like an overload. I think that's what he meant. I mean, that's kind of what I meant as well.
Like a server overload.
Yeah, but like for me, as far as the infrastructure, I mean, like Xbox. I mean, with the written movies, with Game Pass, with My Movies Anywhere, with Starting a Party.
Mm-hmm.
Just their infrastructure is just
talking about the HUD.
Yeah, the whole just the Xbox Live in general to me is just so much better. Same price to me is just so much more structured. You got Game Pass, you got all those things. I think, and especially if it stays that way going into the holiday season, think about it. Mom buys the Xbox, she sees the $15 a month.
Yeah, and you got
$15 a month. You get over 100 games. You get an Xbox Live subscription. And you get it for PC if they have a PC. Mm-hmm. That one card with the code on it, and they got the box. That's all you need.
So that was the thing back in the day. That was one of the things back in the day is that, you'd get a new console, and your parents, what, you need games for it?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you got a new toy. You need batteries for it? You know what I'm saying? But this, all inclusive. Just like you said, and the thing is, you don't have to worry about choosing the game right off the bat. If they want a new game, a specific game, you go out and get that. But Game Pass is going to give you 100+, and there's a lot of new games people are playing currently, i.e., 90% of the ones that we talk about on what we've been playing.
And then brand new exclusives from Microsoft are going to... So, like, as valuable as it is today... It's gonna get more valuable whenever they're what is it called? The Initiative Studio, where they say they're building quadruple A games. That's gonna be just in Game Pass whenever that releases.
And you gotta think about it as a retailer. When I'm bringing that mother up for that Xbox, so I'm getting that Xbox. Hey, do you need rechargeable batteries? Do you need a headset? Hey, here's the Game Pass where you get 100 games, $15 a month, and you get Xbox.
You already sold when you say 100 games right there. She's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh, really?
Put it on there. Just 15.
Right, and even if your kid is like, hey, I really want a PS5, all my friends are getting a PS5, and the retailer convinced your mom, look, this has 100 games.
Yeah.
As a kid, that's a very compelling argument.
You're like, yeah.
We can still play Fortnite, I guess, because that's crossplay. So I'll screw it.
Yeah, and here's the other thing you mentioned. During that time, the kid wants it, but the person who's actually giving up the money is the mother. So that's the person that you got to be convinced.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So that kid can know every single spec and detail of whatever that system has.
That's a cool story, bro. I'm paying $15 for this.
Right? But this does tie into what Sigma had mentioned, which is we know about those deep ins and outs, but what's touted, what's repeated, what's sold by the retailers to the consumers is, oh, you're getting a new system? Well, why don't you get the most powerful one? Hey, that one right there is the most powerful one.
True.
Like, you got to think about this, even if they're going to be in stock right now, because think about it. Traditionally, when those systems come in, they're out of stock.
Oh,
I'm not worried. I'm hoping that this artificial scarcity ends in 2020. I would love for that to no longer be a thing. We experienced that with Nintendo Switch. We experienced that with all the NES and SNES classics. We experienced that with some physical copies of games that people wanted. Animal Crossing, Octopath Traveler, Persona 5, things like that. Like, let's just cut that out.
I remember people camping out for PlayStation.
Exactly. I want that to stop. Let's cut that that out. We don't need to be doing that anymore.
I have something to admit about that subject in particular. When I was first looking for a Switch, I was living in San Diego at the time, and the GameStop up the street didn't have any when I first went to go pick it up. And they said, oh, we should have some tomorrow. Come in at this time. I was like, all right, cool. Next day I show up a little bit later than I wanted to, and there was one left in the store. And I was at the counter, and a family just walked in behind me talking about the Switch. And my Switch is sitting right over there. I felt kind of bad about it, but I tried to walk out as soon as possible.
It's in better hands. It's in better.
But I shouldn't have to be in that position.
No, honestly, I feel like that's not really a thing that much. Like when it does happen, it's on purpose. Like a lot of those examples Gamer gave early on were all Nintendo until like Persona 5.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo does that on purpose.
Or people buying the system just to resell it.
Right.
Oh yeah, I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, any other final thoughts on PS5 before we wrap this up?
I really think that it has a fair chance to wow us still. 100%.
Okay.
I will say, and I will add to that, they have a lot of work to do because it's not just about the console anymore, because your differences are not as large. Right. So you got to pump. Those are rookie numbers. You need to pump those numbers up, kid.
Let's get some deals.
Alrighty. So that's going to close things out. We did not have any questions this week, so we do encourage you, hit up the email, bbetgaming@gmail.com, and send us your questions or possible topics, news, whatever it is you think you want to hear our opinions on. We will read them. We will throw them on the podcast. Jeff, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
So you can find me on SupermanJeff12 on Twitter, on SupermanJeff12 Plays on Facebook, and SupermanJeff12 on Mixer.
All right. Mr. Gamer, what about you? Where can people find you on the internet?
Hello there. My name is Mr. Gamer. You can find me at startbuttonreview.com. That's like start button on the controller. I have a podcast, SBR Reports, 2 R's, SBR Reports, on any other place that you're listening to your podcast except the toilet. I'm still working with Todd Howard on that. He recently has Skyrim on the toilet, so we're working things out of how to get that. I am on Mixer, I am on Twitter, and I am on Twitch. All by the same gamer tag, SBRMRGAMER.
That's what's up. Right. Blue, where can people find you?
It's your boy, Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. You can find me on Twitter with that same handle. You can find me on, actually, PlayStation. I'm starting to play Persona 5 again. And I might be getting into some Apex Legends and stuff like that on the PlayStation. So hit me up, Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. Also, Twitter, same thing. On the Xbox, I'm XB, as in Wakanda Forever. That's right, Jeff. Yeah, man, y'all check out our streams, especially the Super Smash Sundays. They're gonna be live. They're getting better. They're getting a lot better. And that doesn't mean that they were bad before. You know what I mean? That just means that they're getting better.
True.
So definitely come through. There's a lot of hype. I'm trying not to lose my cool. I did it once in the past couple weeks. I lost my cool once. I'm not doing it no more. I'm trying not to do that no more. But that just shows you how much energy is going into these games. It's a lot of fun, and there's definitely lots to yell and jump and scream about. So yeah, I'm through.
Cool. You can find me on pretty much all social media at SigmaGears9. You can find my reviews as well as some articles I've written on escapismmagazine.com, as well as their YouTube 3-minute reviews specifically. You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Sun. And like everyone else said, follow the Mixer, the Twitch, the YouTube especially. Please go to the YouTube, search for BBET Gaming.
Yeah.
Search all of us out. Follow us on Twitter. we're posting stuff. We're talking to each other, talking to random people on the internet all day long. So just, if you want to stay engaged, hit us up any way you can find us. Want to thank everyone for listening once again. Thanks to my 3 co-hosts. That's going to do it for episode 39 of the BBET Gamescast. Peace.